States. The United States does not mean anything to these people. And I'll give you a little bit of your listeners a little clue on this. Because I love my country, and I love the ideals that they at least claimed that this country was founded on in the Declaration of Independence, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You know, I'm all in favor of that. And so in 1976, we had our bicentennial. And those of us that were proud Americans were proud that a country that was founded on life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness had survived for 200 years. What was happening while we were celebrating the bicentennial? Why our Congress people were getting together and quietly signing another document, a Declaration of Interdependence, where they pledged themselves to support the destruction of the United States.
I remember that. Stay there. I want to come back with that and more. And I'll give out the number for folks to join us.
We're on the march.
This is the Illuminati. Get your copy at Infowars.com. And again, I've been on the radio since 1996. I read Fritz's seminal book. He's written, I don't know, 15 others or something. Bloodlines, Illuminati, and I just didn't believe it. I mean, some of it I knew from history, and some of it I could confirm, the parts that I knew, but I just was like, this is not going on. Of course, back then, British broadcaster and best-selling author. He wrote the book that's now turned into Men Who Stare at Goats with George Clooney and all that. He wrote the book, Them. He said, no, they really do this ritual at Bohemian Grove. They do fly in the prostitutes and stuff. And he said, for liability stuff, I just want to use you and have you go in because the TV, folks won't let me do it. And I said, okay, fly me out there. I don't believe that's going on. This is about a year before I actually went in 2000. He said, okay, coming up next year. They just had it this year. I've got a source inside and everything. I mean, that's just 12, 13 years ago that I was ignorant. And again, he says he has a source that says this about a president or whatever. All I know is these presidents launch wars, killing hundreds of thousands of people and lie to us, and the government is involved shipping drugs in. All I know is that you can type in DynCorp Halliburton sex trade, including children. You'll get Chicago Tribune, Associated Press, but nobody gets in trouble. All I know is you can type in UN child kidnapping, and you'll get thousands of articles. All I know is that a lot of crazy stuff goes on at Bohemian Grove. And remember Abu Ghraib and the 30-plus other camps. You can read the Army's report. Type in Abu Ghraib, Army report on Abu Ghraib. Abuse is what they called it. General Tagumbu, American general. You read it, and it says acid. I'm not going to say on air what they do with it. Acid and children and raping. Now, this is what the military and the people they hired as dungeon keepers were doing to people to make them talk. And then you, oh, well, that was isolated. No, they were ordered to. They found folks that would do it. Remember all the 24 shows and stuff where they torture the kid in front of the dad to get the answer, and that would stop the nuke from going off? And law enforcement magazines, I remember reading one like in 99 was like, an anthrax bombs are going to go off all over the city and probably kill hundreds of thousands. The terrorists won't talk, not even under torture. But you've got his son. What do you do? Well, with Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, he wouldn't talk after 4 or 5 years of waterboarding. They brought his wife and kid and his little son and threatened him. The news said, well, we threatened him, and he confessed to 9/11 and blowing up buildings as well that weren't built when he was in custody. He basically confessed to, shooting Lincoln. This is the dungeon keepers, the demon spawn of pure hell, openly selling you on all these shows and dramas everywhere on how cool it is to torture, how awesome it is. In fact, I mean, every major movie I see that's got cops in it, that cops watch and fantasize, like Law Abiding Citizen, torturing people, but they always deserve it in situational ethics and getting rid of the Constitution and the cops celebrate it and agree. I've learned to hate the Constitution. I've learned you're right. And the guy's like, good, I've murdered all these people. Good. He's like the hero military guy. And I mean, so Fritz, they are clearly selling everyone now on what they want. Here's the toll-free number to join us, 800-259-9231. Quick questions or comments for Fritz Springmeier, 800. And he'll come back in a month or so. We're going to have him on a lot. 800-259-9231 is the number to join us. If you disagree, agree, 800-259-9231. Fritz Springmeier. But my point is, you cannot deny this is the agenda, because they are openly trying to sell us on things that was in your book 17 years ago like it's good, Fritz.
That's right.
I mean,
we were talking about the Declaration of Interdependence, where our leaders pledged themselves to destroy the United States and our industry and make us dependent on other nations. You know, see, the ideals that these banner issues that they have us fight wars for, they don't even care about. This is one of my favorite posters. I have it hanging on my wall, say freedom of speech, right? But it's a World War II poster that the government put out to get people to fight World War II and give money to the government in war bonds. And so I would ask you, do these people that pledged, that signed that Declaration of Interdependence, do they really care about this? When they send us off to die in these wars, do they really care about us or care about these issues that they have us supposedly die for? Are they really trying to save our freedom of speech, or what are they trying to do?
Well, Fritz, I disagree with you on this point, and of course in a nuanced, joking way. It's not that they don't care about America. They hate the United States and pay tax incentives and use our tax money to move General Electric and General Motors and others out of the country. It's not just that our jobs are leaving. They're paying with our taxes to get rid of our jobs. They absolutely hate this country. And you're right, pledged to bankrupt us and take us from the most intelligent, highest test scores, strongest family values, best nation to the worst. And they're celebrating now that more Americans now than not do not get married. They're not having children. And when they do, they say women run it all, and the women work with the state. And I hope you enjoy your 2,000% plus increase in breast cancer, too, because the globalist, the state isn't a very nice husband. It's run by devil-worshipping killers that gang rape children in Iraq. Solo nation, American consumers, stay single. And I heard it being celebrated today, and callers going, the family's archaic. Oh, yeah, let's not even have a civilization. And Miss Magazine, CIA funded, breaking everything up, Fritz, they knew exactly what they were doing, and they have just devastated. And you've got a bunch of selfish people running around, and that's really what Satanism is. Because when you think, I'll cheat everybody, I'll only care about myself, me, I get ahead that way. No. You poison the well. I mean, I hate to use the analogy of people in public pools urinating in the pool, but you don't want to go to the big public pool when there's 300 kids in it because you know you're bathing in a toilet. And then it gets so toxic that they have so much chlorine you can't even get it because it burns your eyes. Okay? This is what Satanists do. They run around wrecking everything and then say, because I'm just doing what I want. But really, it's because they do. To them, maggots, black, uniforms, death, children with their bones sticking out, starving. I've seen the art that Schwarzenegger and all these elites are into, studying it. And it's like kids run over by cars. I saw Schwarzenegger in Germany. He flew there just to buy a bunch of this art and was with the artist. I found it on an obscure German site one time searching for Schwarzenegger photos. And it was like dead babies, little girls dressed up in Nazi outfits, children run over by cars. And it was just Schwarzenegger's quotes about how beautiful this was. And to them, it's just beautiful. They go see a dead, I've read reports where, they see a dead animal with maggots and they'll just stop and, oh, it's so pretty. Oh, like psychos like that smell. Oh, this is beautiful. These are malfunctioning cancers. And normal people have to rout them out. Fritz, your comment, and we're going to calls.
Yes, some of them are obviously just simply parasites. Now, some of them are actually producing something of value or making decisions that help run the system, but there's plenty of them that are parasites, and it's frightening the cancers, so to speak, that they're spreading amongst us at different levels.
Any other points you think are important to make here of the ocean of info you've got before we go to calls?
Wow, we've covered a lot. nothing that comes to my mind within a short. I started to talk about Onassis, and I sent you guys a picture showing Jackie Kennedy while she was still married to JFK going on board Onassis's yacht. I thought that would be an interesting picture to show your audience, because it kind of pulls the curtain away from, backstage. There's a lot that's strange that's happening. And so Onassis was the kingpin who helped coordinate the assassination of JFK. And then he gets to, like a bandit, he runs off with JFK's wife.
Incredible, but expanding on that, because your Skype's breaking up real bad, just to interrupt there, to expand on that, it's the same story over and over and over and over again. And we've got to go to calls, but briefly, how far back do these bloodlines go? I mean, obviously it ties into their delusion that they're Merovingians and that Christ had children with Mary Magdalene.
Right. It goes way back. The Rothschilds, in their secret genealogy, take themselves all the way back to Nimrod. If I had had time, I was going to try to find some artistic portrayal of Nimrod for you. Some of them go back to your ancient Roman elite families. Some of them go back to the Venetian families that go back even further. The tribe of Dan which was the black sheep of Israel, they have provided a bloodline that's crept into a lot of other bloodlines. They go back to the pharaohs, and they've kept track of all of this stuff in their secret genealogies, and
that's why the Bill Gates and all of them are obsessed with a genealogy. That's why they take blood from babies at birth worldwide. They needed that blood to test it for their genealogy programs. But take the Astor family. It's admitted that Anderson Cooper is CIA, but left, and that he's one of the heirs to the Astor fortune. I mean, it just never ends. These people are everywhere.
They are. And the connections are endless, too. Once I started researching it, you would look at one Illuminati character and you would start seeing him connected to all these other Illuminati families. And then the people that they hire and everything it's just one big network. In fact, that's even one word that they use for themselves, is the network.
All right, I want to go to some phone calls here. Let's go ahead and talk to Dwayne in California, then Sergio, Richard, Jim, and Tony. Dwayne, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Alex. I've done a lot of research on what Fritz Springmeier is talking about, bloodlines of Illuminati, and I've seen this information. Had just done tons of research as well, and it's amazing when you look at the interbreeding that's going on between like the Rothschild, Rockefeller.
Look at how all the presidents in the last 100 years are all related. I mean, Obama's related to all of them. I mean, it's crazy. And it's not like they're just cousins once or twice, or Bush and Kerry go to the same secret society. They were